I just wanted to start out by talking about how to really build that marketing strategy. And I liked the image that the team had put together for this cover page, because as business owners, there's so many times that you can feel like you're just banging your head up against that wall, and the wall just seems really high and it's hard to climb over just to get your business to that next level. And then other days it can feel like you've got a nice set of stairs, and because you have a solid process in place that you're able to easily climb those one at a time. And when we take a look at marketing and how business owners can relate to promoting their business as well as running their business and looking at what their overall objectives are, it's really important to be able to have a marketing plan so that you have those steps in front of you, not just that concrete wall that you have to figure out a way to scale over. I wanted to thank Heidi for providing that professional bio, but I also wanted just to share a little personal information. My husband, Don, and I are co-owners of Evolve Systems, and we've been married. It'll be 30 years this October. I think that's something worthy and definitely worth celebrating. Not quite sure how to do that with COVID, but we'll find something out. I'm also a mother of 4 fantastic young adults, and it's just been my pleasure and honor to watch them turn into incredible leaders. Some of you may have had the opportunity to meet them over the years, as we have been able to blend not only our work but our family life, and it's been fun having them meet many of my work friends. We have 3 grandfurs and 8 chickens. And yes, we live in the cities, and we have the fenced-in backyard from when the kids were younger, and now that serves as a boundary for fresh farm eggs, which is just a fun thing to do on a weekend morning. Go and make a great big breakfast. I'm also the 6th generation entrepreneur in our family, and I'm the past president for NABO, and I'm just fiercely passionate about helping our clients achieve their business goals. Through COVID, I find myself digging back into some of those old 80s collection rock bands, that big hair band, some of those favorite songs, and driving down the road with the windows down. It certainly helps me to refresh my thought process. And I'm just incredibly proud and grateful for the team at Evolve, and with the quick pivots that we've made for ourselves and our clients over the last 6 months. I have witnessed each and every team member live our vision statement in such significant ways. To approach each day with passion, and its passion for people, is really what drives us to make a positive difference for our partners. We consider our clients, our vendors, our referral partners all part of that partnership, because we really are in business together with partners. Today's topic is near and dear to me because without strategy, a business has a much more difficult time keeping focused. So let's start the discussion. Here's our topics, and we've got a shorter presentation so we can leave some room for QA, but I just wanted to start this off with a quote from Seth Godin, and his name is very popular within the different business cycles and circles that we have here in the Twin Cities, and that is, marketing is no longer about the stuff you make. It's about the stories you tell, and it really is about the story you tell and making sure that the story is consistent, that it's on point, that it's on brand, and that it communicates exactly what your ideal audiences are looking to hear. So without further ado, we have our first piece here, and that is, why is a marketing plan critical? 50% of all businesses will transition through a crisis due to the famous 5 Ds. Those Ds are divorce, disagreements in partnerships, disabilities, so dealing with health issues, death, and also disaster. And I certainly would qualify our COVID-19 as a business disaster. The marketing plan is a missing link between the strategic direction of the business and the delivery of the results. We know that Outbound Engine in 2019 did a marketing survey, and here's just some of the statistics of what they provided for us. And that is 25% of respondents are unsure of how they plan to grow their business in 2019. So I think that many of those business owners were looking at those 2 different examples of walls. One had step and one was just a steep piece that you had to climb over. 55% of small business owners spend less than 5% of their annual revenue on marketing. Over 58% of small business owners spend 5 hours or fewer on marketing every week. And it's usually when they are trying to jam something in between two meetings and they haven't been able to have that critical thinking and that laser focus on making sure that the messaging matches what their marketing plan needs. We have 81% of the respondents who invested between 5 and 10% of annual revenue in marketing said that they experienced growth in 2018. So by comparison, only 50% of those respondents who invested less than 5% of revenue into marketing actually experienced revenue growth. And that is just a sad statistic because as business owners or as marketing team members, the reason we do this is to supply business growth. So why do we want to continue to focus on that marketing plan? And we know that positions in the company can focus on the products and the services in addition to those business stakeholder relationships. Having that marketing plan allows the focus to be on those products and services of the business, not the business owner, not the rock star salesperson, not any of the other pieces that could leave the company. The company needs to stand on its own branding, and having that marketing plan will provide that security piece that makes it much easier for the value of the company to be attached to the company's name rather than those key stakeholders. It can also provide an insurance policy for business owners to predict what their revenue forecasts are. If we have a solid marketing plan that we know that we spend X amount of time doing X amount of activities and we expect those activities to convert at X amount of value, it allows you to really understand what your future cash flow is going to look like. And that's that key for providing enterprise value. We're all after that enterprise value for the businesses. A marketing plan creates stability for a business that could be transitioning. And we talked about the 5 Ds, but additional transitioning could be companies that have a seasonality focus. We've got some clients that they've worked with as a Christmas tree farm. We know they're busy in the field during the summer, and their go plan is just for a few short months. We have other clients that we've worked with that work for seasonality and, for example, like a Halloween product where they have 1 month. So you have to have that marketing plan ready to go. It's also a great way for introducing new team members. If you have team members that are transitioning or promoting within the company, when you have that marketing plan established, you're able to have a program that a new team member is easily able to step in and either take over or understand what the focus needs to be. And then we also have opportunities where there's new management or new ownership that comes in, that when that solid marketing plan is in place, it's way easier for them to take that over. And so once again, that provides that enterprise value for clients. Marketing can help enforce the vision of the company. The marketing messages need to be clear and on sync and use the same type of language. And by enforcing what that vision is, the marketing plan is able to support not only the company, but its branding. It helps to create additional brand awareness in the market. And we know that now more than ever, it's critical for businesses to continue to innovate. How we did business 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago is completely different of how we're going to be doing business in the very near future. So what is the value of marketing? You know, most business owners are entrepreneurs until you get into more of the larger companies where they are still privately owned, but there's a C-suite that's leading the company, or where companies are purchased by venture capital groups. And they all ask, you know, what is this value? And when we know that entrepreneurs have that opportunity to say, oh, here's the next bright, shiny light, let's go after that, or let's check this out, or let's understand what this looks like, having that marketing plan really allows you to keep that focus, to be able to stay intentional and to follow that path, because the path is set for specific reasons. It's that focus. And we talk about, you know, your future really does depend on your focus. Keep that focus, and that focus needs to be just driven down through all the different categories and team members and what the vision is of the company. Knowing your ROI and close ratios accurately really does help project the cash flow. Here's a quick little tidbit you can take a look at. We take a look at the number of leads times the leads to customer rate times what your average sale price is. What is it costing you or for the time, or what is your ad spend, and then divide that by the cost or ad spend, and you're going to have a pretty good idea of what your return on investment looks like. The value of marketing also allows you to be proactive versus reactive. When we find business owners that are really only spending 5% of their time in marketing, we see that they are being more reactive to what the market pulse is. They're not able to be proactive and to align themselves with the sales efforts that are going on with the organization. So having that solid plan really gives you a foundation of strength. We talk about the predicted ROI on marketing expenses. That helps with the budgeting. We're coming into budgeting season again, and understanding what the revenue forecasting needs to be and what the budget needs to be in order to support the growth goals is very important. Working with automated sales leads that can get generated from inbound marketing is a way to make things a whole lot easier. It gives you the opportunity to control your message. What is your marketing message? What is the information that you're wanting to share? How can you set yourself as a business to be known as a leader in the industry, to be known as an expert? Having these marketing plans in place helps with that. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but really that alignment between sales and marketing activities, it creates enthusiasm within the two departments, and that's where you can really gain some great traction. And then a solid marketing strategy provides value not only for your own business, but you have to look at it as an investment that you're doing for your clients. If you have that clear path, that clear vision, your clients are able to easily engage with you rather than trying to figure out what it is that you're doing or get a better understanding of the services that you offer. So by being able to work on your own marketing, you're actually making it much easier for your clients to get ingrained and to have that type of relationship where they're going to continue to come back to you for more and more information. So you have to look at it as not just about you, but this is really about what your clients are needing and how you can create a sticky environment. We take a look at putting it together, a marketing plan with a winning approach. And this pyramid is kind of near and dear to my heart. It's been around for a little while, but it really is a great example to talk about what that process looks like and how to go about building a marketing plan. A lot of our clients want to start talking about this section right here where we're looking at the marketing plan for content optimization. But ideally, you need to start down at that foundation. You can't build a house on a bad foundation. It has to be solid. And that always starts with a strong website foundation that has fantastic UX, UI, that's user experience, information, great search engine optimization. A lot of times you put things in your website that's not just for your ideal client, but it's for Google. And there's a reason why search engine optimization has to be considered a great investment. Once you have that piece done is when you can then move up to your post-launch digital marketing. And they have to be designed in tandem, but you really don't want to start any of those marketing activities until this foundation is really solid. And then this is where that fun part starts. You move up to optimizing that content. You make constant tweaks on it. You create blogs, and this is where that marketing strategy comes in, those content calendars. You have to understand what you're going to be providing as detailed information, not only for your clients, but for Google. They pick up on all those keywords, and that's how that organic search can really help your business benefit. We move into the publish, share, and socialize section of the pyramid, and this is where there's a lot of activity done, and then we cannot forget about measuring and optimizing. What's interesting is on this side of our slide, we have a lot of business owners that will be so excited that a website is done, and they think that that once the website launches or a new program is implemented, that they're done. But in reality, they're only 10% done. And then when we start talking about the digital marketing, this is 25% of those activities. And this is the heavy lift. A lot of business owners think that this part, that foundation was solid with a lot of work. Guess what? We're just starting, because this is where all that activity comes in. 5% publishing, sharing, and socializing, and then we can't forget the optimizing. This is what really makes up that winning approach on putting together a solid strategy. Our proven process, we work with a 5-step process, and this has been able to really help our clients understand what this means. We always start with strategy, we move into design. Once that's completed, we move into the build phase, then we talk about marketing. And the reason why is because we know that if we start with marketing, we have a great concept somebody wants to market, and the information is not included in the strategy, therefore the design won't support it. So if we just start to market something, we're going to run into a problem. So when we look at our strategy session, it's really all about doing a website audit, not only on the client's website, their current website, but we'll do an audit to see where they're stacking up against their competitors. You have to have that benchmark of understanding of where's the line, what do I need to beat, who am I chasing, who's doing a good job, who's not doing a good job. And then we have to do SEO analysis on all of those factors to understand where's the opportunity, how is it that we're going to be able to really make a significant difference. Within those strategy sessions, we talk about who is the ideal audience, understanding who your competitors are, but then also taking a look at who Google thinks your competitors are, because you can't control the algorithms. And so if you've got the wrong keywords, you might not be coming up in the searches that you're wanting your ideal audiences to really find you in. So understanding what that looks like. And there's so many different businesses that have got similar keywords, and so how do you position that correctly so that Google's going to give you the right amount of attention? And then we take a look at consulting so that we're tying in your sales and marketing strategies together, because everything needs to be layered these days. When we move into that design phase, it's really about the corporate identity. We provide wireframes and mock-ups to understand what the UX, UI is going to be on that. Mobile. We take a look at understanding how many of your visitors are coming to your website and through a desktop or through a mobile phone, because those design elements need to be different for different types of audiences. We will work on either application designs or e-commerce designs, and then really taking that deep dive into understanding what that copywriting needs to be, because copy is just as complicated as all the other elements that go into a solid strategy. Your copy needs to be informational, it needs to be on target, it needs to have the right keywords, and it needs to be just as beautiful as what the designs are. Once that section is all wrapped up, the next piece of strategy is to move into the development, and that really is the build section of this. And is there any integrations that need to be going into the product that will help the business owner to be able to find different efficiencies, or build in different types of pieces that are going to find the efficiencies, like payment integrations or CRM integrations. Everything that we can automate, we need to. There's that marketing bucket, step number 4, and that takes a look at not only the traditional marketing, but also all things digital, and we're going to cover more of that in the next few slides. But finally, it's that support bucket, and I think that this is just as important as the first one, because a business owner really needs to have confidence in their partner that they're going to move forward with, because a lot of strategy is all supported by technology, and you need to have a partner that you're going to trust, that's going to help you navigate through all the different changes. And technology has fail points, and so who can you trust that's going to help you through a sticky situation? So not only do we offer the support, but we also offer website maintenance plans. We have a training session when projects launch, so that our business owners have the keys to their own kingdom. I mean, a website is considered a very valuable asset to the business. We need to make sure that they understand how that all works. And then we do something unique. We offer open lab sessions for our clients where they are able to reserve a time. They can come in and work on their website and have access to one of our developers, just in case they've got some questions or problems, or they're afraid to click that button to refresh. We want to make sure that they're feeling very successful with it. So let's unpack this approach a little bit more with online on this slide right here. I talked about that first step being the strategy session, and we love to look at this as discovery. The image that we have here on the right is just an example. It's a little snapshot of a project that we're working with, and we do these sessions in person as well as online, and we have to take a deep dive. So they're very thoughtful and intentional conversations because we need to understand not only the clients, but then we also have to understand what your industry is. What industry are you owning, or what industry are you going after? And ultimately, what is it that you make money with? Because you need to market what you're making money with. It's important every time you put together a strategy that you create a project mission statement and project goals, because when is done to do with the internet? It's an ongoing thing, but at what point do you measure what success is? And you also have to determine what those business goals are and the digital objectives. An objective may be just to reduce inbound calls, and so that means providing the right content in the right area on the website. It may even mean just adding an additional chat feature so that you've got opportunities to not only talk to people on the phone, but then to also answer them real quickly online. The different generations prefer different communication tactics. And then we need to provide all that valuable information about your company because people want to know who they're doing business with. We need to create the personas, and a persona is developed really to identify what your ideal audience is. It's not based on a single type, but rather a group. For example, we created a journey mapping session for several of our clients. One of my most favorite was with a bank. And it was a community bank that has been in business for years. And through their community bank success, they have worked with several different businesses that are now in transition to either the second or the third generation. And these new business owners, these younger family members that are coming in, they think differently. They want different types of information. They want to access this information differently. And so how do you choose to update a project and update your marketing strategy based on a boomer or a millennial? And so we got to really help the bank identify which services were needed to be updated, and that went into all of the business development and information, and they shifted their entire process for their marketing, and that goes all the way through to their traditional marketing pieces. So in short, a marketing persona is really, it's a sketch or a description of a subset of people that are considered your ideal audience. Then we also talk about what your key differentiators are. And let's say that you're a service-based business and your competition requires the clients to bring their materials or their equipment in for service, but yet you have a division that you will go out to the client's actual location and perform the service. That is a huge key differentiator. So understanding what you do differently or what opportunities that you can change in order to make a better client experience is real important for those marketing plans. You have to gather all the intel on the products, the services, their selling cycles, how they sell, how they go to market. What pain points are they currently experiencing that could be fixed with technology? And what are all those current integrations? I mentioned that word integration before, and that really is about tying in different pieces. So are they using a newsletter program? Do they have a payment page so their clients can easily log on and make a payment directly rather than having to mail a check-in? Is there different CRM for marketing automation pieces? All of those things go together. We also need to really remember to focus on the culture, and understanding what the culture is of the company is important to translate that through into all of the different marketing. So talking about culture as part of your marketing strategy is critical. And then identifying those ideal audiences. Gosh, why does somebody come to your website? What information is going to be there? We know that companies and visitors come to websites to do 5 different things. It's either they're researching you, or they're going to compare what you have on your website versus what a competitor may have. And so you have to make sure that information is really easily found. They want to buy something from you. So how do they do that? Do they call you? Is there a contact form? Is it an e-commerce site where it's a click of a button? And then they want to know how you're going to service them. How do they get a hold of you for ongoing support? And then what value is it that you're going to be providing for them? And it's important to make sure that you understand your value as well as your entire team so that everything is very succinct. Then what happens is after all of those discussions, this is depending upon the business size, it can take hours, it could take a couple different sessions, and it really is fun to be able to pull all of those recommendations together. And when we're working on helping a business owner put together a strategy, we really want to focus in on a 3-month marketing plan to begin with. You need to have the framework there for 6 months, but you need to continue to add on to it. Having those 3 months and that runway for 6 months allows those quick pivots or quick announcements that need to happen or changes in the industry, so you're able to not only work with your foundation, but then be adding on to it. And really, depending upon the type of business or products and services that you have, the competitive landscape, and the length of your sales cycle, you should budget really between 9 and 12% of your annual revenue for marketing. So we take all of that into consideration when we go through to create a marketing plan, because it's based off of that strategy. So once the strategy is done, we go through and do that deep dive and reviewing all of the discussion findings. We do the research, we check out the competition, and we gain a lot of industry knowledge on that. We want to make sure that we are encouraging everybody to develop the best marketing recommendations for their company as possible. And that goes hand in hand with understanding like which platforms your clients hang out on. Is everybody on Pinterest? Is everybody on LinkedIn? Is Facebook a piece there? Is there going to be items that are going to be found on Facebook? Do we do ads on LinkedIn or Facebook or pay-per-click? All of that pulls into this. So it's really about learning which platforms your clients are hanging out on. Where do you want to make that investment? Then creating that actionable content calendar, it's got to be something that you can do. It has to be a program that you can commit to, that you're going to execute, and it's not going to get put in the back parking lot when that next bright, shiny light comes up or there's a fire that happened with a client. The marketing plan has to stand on its own. And then you decide, are you going to rely on all organic or are you going to do some paid advertising? And really finding the best of both and how that works and how you can layer all of that on together is the ultimate plan. Take a look at what your content frequency is and how you can, once again, layer all the different pieces of content. You can write a blog article or a case study, and then how do you promote that on social media? And do you use that for downloads within a piece on your website that's behind a gated content wall? And then once you start layering all of the different search engine optimization tactics on, that's when you start really getting those premium results. That's what we're all after. Identifying what automation tools can be used and found for those efficiencies is really important. And we talk about technology on that first slide and understanding that we're all needing to pivot. There's new tools and tips and tricks that get released monthly. Staying on top of that is really important. And once you have all of those things put together and what the marketing strategy is, that's where you can really focus on those impactful results. Some marketing considerations for you is really understanding, the market research, what all goes into a strategy, the website, UX, UI, e-commerce, content calendar, social media, blog, email marketing, digital marketing, SEO, marketing automation, pay-per-click. I mean, it goes on and on. But measurement and reporting for those KPIs, those key performance indicators, and ROI, return on investment for digital investments is critical. Google AdWords realizes that an average of 2.45% is really what the rate of conversion is. So if you have your plan solid, that's what you can start to anticipate. The combined results from the Nielsen's and ProfitWorks study show that an email and SEO efforts actually result in higher ROIs when compared with other types of marketing campaigns. These venues really rely on content, not necessarily direct advertising. So there needs to be a great mesh of all of these different pieces that go into the different marketing considerations. What's next steps? How do we do this? What do we look at for this? And really, it's the alignment with clients on the digital marketing strategy. You need to align with your clients and how you put your marketing together. Again, marketing is for your business, but it's also to really help your ideal clients how to engage with you. Make it easy for them. We want to identify if there's been any transitions or pivots that your business has had to make that you need to communicate with your clients. Has there been any new needs that your clients have that, since they've pivoted, that you can offer? We all know what those SMART goals are, and those SMART goals need to apply to a marketing plan as well. Take inventory in all of those digital assets. What items are you going to start? What can you keep? What can you stop? You know, once you start moving forward with that website first, the rest of the digital plan should roll out very, very easily. And then always measure. So what are those key performance indicators that you're measuring? Is it how many people are coming to your site as new visitors, or are they returning visitors? What's your value for a new client? How much money are you willing to invest in getting a new client? And then maybe another one is how many forms are being filled out on a monthly basis, or how many increases have you had on your social media followers? I've got a couple client examples here that I want to run through just to give you an example of what the differences are that can be made. This law firm came to us and they were wanting to start marketing. Their initial intention was to be able to put together a program that they had an existing client base, but they've added so many new services to their law firm that the existing clients didn't know that they were doing those services, and so they knew that they were losing out on business opportunities. So initially we wanted to do just a marketing plan for them, and we started to take a deep dive into understanding who their ideal clients were and what they were needing. And this being their old logo was not as modern as what they needed for the types of clients that they wanted to attract. And so we settled on this new logo. And so branding really does need to come first. And once we decided that the personas and the language of how they were communicating not only with their clients, but then on their website and then on their social was all fractured, we needed to pull together what that persona development was and understand who it is that they need to talk to and what their voice is. We rebuilt this website on WordPress. We've added several different integrations for them. We work with them for ads and contents, and we do ongoing marketing. And as you can see here, this information is just additional flyers, and this suits their personality. And we know that they have received their return on investment with their new clients, and so this is just a fun one. I wanted to show this case study as well. This is a client that came to us, and it's called Orchards of Minnetonka. It's an assisted living facility for seniors. And we talk about in our strategy session, how do you work with your referrals, and that we consider our business partners as part of our referrals. We have a relationship with a couple different construction companies, and when they start to build new infrastructures or new properties, we work with them to really establish what the brand is, and then we'll work hand in hand with them for the development piece as the project is going. And what that means for us is on the right-hand side there, you can see the beautiful homepage that's got a picture of the existing building. That is the building. When we first started working with them, it was an architectural drawing, and then we had a construction camera that showed the progression that was happening with this project as we were starting to do the promotions, because what they're wanting to really work with is getting more people in their facility, and there's a lot of competition with this. And I'm so grateful to be able to say that we've heard from Orchards of Minnetonka that they have remained COVID-free, so we're so proud of them for all their safety precautions that they've done. We do ongoing search engine optimization and content improvements for them, and it leads to those new residents. And analytics, because we measure this on a monthly basis and have that conversation with them, they have a 31% decrease in their bounce rate, which is phenomenal, because that leads to the next statistic of being 41% in average for average time on the page. So we know that the quality content, because of the discussions that we had with those discovery sessions, for their ideal audience, they have the content that's on their website, and so therefore their people are on their site more because what they are looking for, they can easily find. And because of this, we make that user experience so much better that we've recently seen a 29% increase in how many pages are viewed per session. So this is really a perfect example of somebody that has taken the time to be proactive with their marketing versus reactive with their marketing. So we've got some key action items here, and really those are about creating that budget. I want to make sure that, each website, that the business owners that we're talking with, that understand that each website really needs to be taken a look at every 4 to 5 years for a refresh. And with that said, there needs to be monthly recommendations that are doing. So those are search engine optimization checks and some really great strategy that goes in behind the content creation to keep those websites refreshed. Most major publicly held companies, they spend on an average of 10% on their marketing plan, whereas privately held companies are between 8 and 10%. We need to remember to boost that up if you've got that solid marketing strategy that's really working for you. And then for every dollar that you put into your marketing budget, you see a return of $10 in revenue. So this is an observable fact. Remember, it's not all about the money, it's about the time and the resources too. So these key action items that you want to make sure to be doing is, creating that marketing budget. How much money can you spend? Where can you start with what you're going to see the most types of impact on? Get that rock solid marketing strategy established. Identify if your business has changed its products and services since you initially launched the website. If business has changed for you in the last 6 months like it has for so many other people that we work with, what updates need to be done in your marketing messaging? Validate if your website communicates ideally with your audiences. Do your targeted personas need to be updated? Are you still focused off of the old purchasing agent that did everything over the phone, and yet their understudies are now coming in and they just want to see what's online? Has that been updated? Create that plan, implement that plan, and measure that monthly success on it. Numbers mean things. Analyzing that data monthly is really important, and it can be confusing. And so if you don't understand how to read your Google Analytics, make sure you ask an expert. Once you can start to dissect what all of the different terminologies and charts mean, it's a whole lot easier to make solid decisions for creating that marketing plan. I always say that Google really likes itself, and it's fun because you have to have Google be your friend. So find different creative ways to engage with Google, and they change their rules of engagement all the time. And so it's important to have somebody helping you with a monthly search engine optimization strategy just for that. But we like to say utilize those Google tools because you get a little bit more organic oomph when you're working on all of your search engine optimization juice. And then again, audit your brand and make sure it's consistent across all the platforms. So anything that you are marketing on, even if it's your associations that you're members with, make sure that things are updated. So this is a great point to transition into some questions. I know that we promised to provide some insight on why having a marketing plan is essential for sustained business growth, and I hope that we provided some clear information on that. There might be some additional questions there. We also promised to provide you insight on how to identify and approach and to develop a marketing strategy. I shared some tricks and tips from our own process that we use, that our 5-step proven process, and really where it all starts with our discovery and strategy sessions. And then also how to execute and measure a marketing strategy. Review your numbers. It's interesting to remember that each one of, or all the data that we have, which is just recently, the big data phenomena is all recent. That's really about 90% of the data that we've got to be able to review. So the data that we've had from previous years really isn't as up to date with how we're currently doing business. So manage your data, be a fan of your data, and just remember that your data really is an asset for your business as well. So with that, Heidi, how can we help with any other questions?
Thanks, Marnie. That was a really valuable session and covered a lot of information. I know I learned some stuff along the way too. I think one of the biggest questions that I'm guessing a lot of our guests are asking is, now what do I do? I know I saw the key action steps, but how do I actually get started? Where do I get started? Who do I have that's involved in that process?
Yeah, it's important that you have the right people involved, and I appreciate that question, because it can't just be the business owner, or it can't just be the person who holds the marketing seat, or it can't be the salesperson, because everybody has a different view. And when we start to work with clients and take a look at the discovery process, there's always key tidbits of information that come out that you'll see people looking at each other sitting around the table wondering, that's really what you think, or is that what's going on? So having the right people at the table, and those are the decision makers of what marketing affects. So it's usually not a good idea to have like your CFO that is there, but it is a good idea to have the marketing, sales, and any type of like a support person. But don't get your committee too large, because then decisions can't get done either. And starting with that conversation is really important. We work with a lot of companies that utilize that program called Traction, and it's normally the conversation starter when we see the marketing plan ends up as a rock on their quarterly VTO. And so it's fun to take a look at really how those businesses need to come together and, review your strategy piece. What is your go-to-market plan? And we've had clients that have completely pivoted from being manufacturers of cases for musical instruments to now they're making COVID masks. And how do you flip that, and how do you keep both pieces of those businesses together? So talking with somebody who's got some experience with marketing and how to help businesses stay relevant is real critical.
Perfect, thank you. And how do you decide whether you should hire an agency to help, or if you're able to do your marketing plan internally?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think that there needs to be somebody from the outside to be able to help look in. And we've got a lot of clients that are entrepreneurs that have held marketing seats in the past, but it's that age-old saying that sometimes you can't see the trees in the forest. And so it really is important to be able to get an outside perspective. And when you start executing on those marketing plans, it's important to have that authenticity come through. And so there needs to be a really good mixture between having real-time information and then what is being supported by the marketing plan and a content calendar that allows for that type of flexibility so that you've got that authentic voice that's coming through.
I'll ask a leading question to follow up from that. So okay. Obviously you talked about the uniqueness of Evolve doing the discovery sessions and the recommendations, which allows us to have the outside in view from the company trying to do a plan internally while looking through the trees. What makes Evolve systems unique in our process in helping a business develop a digital marketing plan?
That is a leading question. Well, we have been working with our 5-step proven process for nearly 17 years, and it continues to evolve. It's so funny because like when we first started the business, Facebook hadn't even been invented yet. So things are continuing to change. And so part of our proven process is the dedication to staying current on industry trends and relevant with new technology and our commitment to ongoing education. But I think more importantly, it's the collaborative environment that we have, and knowing that when we're working on clients' projects that it's not just an account manager, or it's not just a project manager, or it's not just somebody in the marketing seat, or it's not just the search engine optimization expert that is working on that. It really is the best of all. And we have a saying here that it goes, may the best idea win, because all things are on the table, and it really is, our plans are put together with that intention so that we understand really how everybody else is thinking, and we have some fun, creative discussions around that. And so it's much different than going with a small marketing company that they only specialize in one thing, or maybe they have a few tricks up their sleeve, but they only have 2 people there. You start to see a lot of redundancies and repetitive concepts or strategies coming out on multiple different clients. And another piece that is real fun for us is that when we started our business, we didn't want to have any one type of business focus, meaning we didn't want to work just in med tech or just in manufacturing or just in, pick a venue. We have clients that are in multiple different types of business, from products and to services. Some are rural companies. We have clients from coast to coast. And so that gives us a really great advantage, because what we may learn from a CPA firm can easily be applied to firms that practice law. What we learn from a company that manufactures their own products, and that client experience and how we work with other businesses that are just service-based, there really is a tie in between that, and everybody has the same goal. How do you delight your client, and how do you make revenue, and how do you keep a very healthy culture? And so I think our entire process and that environment allows us to be able to hit those things. And so I think that's important when you're making a decision on who you want to work with.
Yes, I can see we hit a nerve on that question, and you talked passionately about why Evolve is different and why you love working with our customers. So there's just two last questions that we got from a couple write-ins here. So this attendee said that they have a team member that's doing marketing. Is there a chance to collaborate with Evolve on marketing recommendations and creating a marketing plan?
Oh, I absolutely love that. So whomever sent that in, that's perfect. And we have to take just one step back and ask, is that team member really effective in that position, or are you looking to have somebody kind of step alongside that person to mentor and guide? Because it really is about an attitude, and we do that often, and we have the opportunity to work with some really great clients, and their team members are fully invested in working with somebody, and they appreciate that, because in a lot of companies, a marketing person will wear multiple different hats. Not only are they needing to do the marketing, but then they have to do all the website updates, they have to do all the events, they're working on either RFP documents, and so they're wearing multiple hats, and they need to have somebody that they can rely on. And so when we have those conversations with clients that ask that question, the first thing I'd like to say is that it really is our goal to earn a seat on their organization chart that is side by side or right below the person that holds that marketing chair, because we want to support them, and it's our goal to make them look like a rock star and to make their life a whole lot easier. And so we have to partner, because they own that information, and they own the ear to the business owner who's making those decisions. So absolutely, it is a very fun engagement when we've got quality people that we have the chance to work with.
Great, thank you. And then the last question we received was, how much per month should I be spending on paid ads?
Oh, I wish I had a crystal ball for that one. It really depends on, one, how many ads that you're wanting to run, and that's based off of what the types of services are that you want to promote, or if it's a product-based, how many different products that you're wanting to do. And then really what the frequency of the management is. We've got a lot of clients who have attempted to do their own AdWord pay-per-click management campaign. And to be honest, they don't have the same tools that an agency will make the investment in to be able to properly and strategically analyze what the true data is and how to manage that correctly. And so they end up wasting a lot of money on it. But to really get some good bang for your buck, you really shouldn't be starting any particular ad out for less than $500 a month. And we've got clients that are at that level, as well as some significantly scaled budgets as well. And again, we shared some of those statistics during this webinar of what you should expect to get out of any type of a solid marketing strategy and plan. And it helps to understand that if you're willing to take the risk, and it takes several months to get everything really keyed in, you're going to see an investment on that money. But don't spend the money unless you've got that website down. We talked about the foundation in our pyramid, and unless that website is ready to help with conversion rates, and it's got the right type of information, and it's easy for those ideal audiences to come and either research, compare, buy, or get that value, it's not worth making that investment. So you've got to have a solid plan to support any type of a paid marketing budget.
Well, thank you, Marnie. I think this wraps up our conversation today. And I just want to thank you again for the information you've shared and the numbers and expectations and key takeaways we've received today. So all of you on the call today, will be sending a recap in the next day or two if you want to share this recording or some of your learnings with your colleagues or friends. And just to let you know that our webinar for next month is how to use content marketing. And so we encourage you to join us for that one next month. You can sign up for that webinar on our webinars page at evolve-systems.com/webinars. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you all for joining us today.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.